Discuss this example of total derivative. In previous videos, we have seen already definition of total derivative. Using limit also we have defined it, and using epsilon delta also we have defined total derivative of a function. See, here I am going to use epsilon delta definition to find total derivative. What will I do? First of all, I will write the given information. We have a function here. So we have f of xy. What have they defined? It is defined as 5y square. After that, we require one point at which point we are going to find total derivative. So it is not given. So I will take, let a is equal to a1 comma a2 be any arbitrary point, h be a vector element of R2. So h1 comma h2. So let us find first basic things which are required or which are mentioned in a definition. So we want f of a plus h, we want f of a. So with the help of their subtraction, we will define a linear transformation that will be a total derivative. Let us find f of a plus h. Consider f of a plus h. So this is equal to f of, what is a here? We have assumed a is equal to a1 comma a2. H is equal to h1 comma h2. So you know that how to add, we have to add component wise. First component plus first component, that means a1 plus h1 comma a2 plus h2. After that, we have to use definition of f to find its value. Definition of f says f of xy is equal to 5y square. That means 5 into square of second component. What is second component here? a2. That means this is our x and this is our y. So let us follow the definition. So we will have 5 a2 plus h2 bracket square. By following this definition, we get it. After that, we want f of a. We calculated f of a plus h. Let us find f of a now. A is a1 comma a2. So this is equal to, let us follow the definition again to find f of a1 comma a2. It is 5y square. That means 5 into second component square. So by following definition, 5 a2 square. Then we will find f of a1 a plus h minus f of a. It is very important step. F of a plus h we have already calculated. What we have got? It is 5 a2 plus h2 square minus f of a is 5 a2 square. We have to solve this one, then only we can guess the total derivative, that means linear transformation. What will I do? I will expand the bracket, a plus b bracket square formula. So 5 a2 square plus 2 a2h2 plus h2 square minus 5 a2 square. So we have to solve the bracket, that means I need to multiply each term of that bracket by 5. So therefore we will have 5 a2 square plus 10 a2h2 plus 5h2 square minus 5a2 square. Can we cancel anything? Yes, definitely. 5a2 square minus 5a2 square will get cancelled to each other. So therefore we will have 10 a2h2 plus 5h2 square. Getting? So we have got f of a plus h minus f of a. So by observing this term, we have to guess linear transformation. So let us guess linear transformation. We define a linear transformation T from R2 to R as, we are defining from R2 to R because function is also from R2 to R. So same linear transformation I will define. So T of xy. So how to guess, how to find a linear transformation, which will be the total derivative. See, f of a plus h minus f of a we have already calculated. So you have to remove terms having power 2, 3 like that, higher power. That means we have to focus only on linear term. Getting? So what is a linear term? This is 10 a2h2. 10 a2h2. I will not take 5h2 square because there is square and we have to avoid it. Okay, so that's why my see, instead of xy I need to write t of h1 comma h2, which is t of h. Getting t of h1 comma h2, this is equal to 10 a2 h2. So this is a linear transformation which is actually required total derivative, but we have to prove it using epsilon delta definition. Getting? So you can make a screenshot of it. After that we will go further. So let us find the actual f of a plus h minus f of a minus t of h, the required term. So then f of a plus h minus f of a minus t of h. So f of a plus h minus f of a we have already calculated. So its value is 10 a2h2 plus 5 h2 square, right, minus t of h. So t of h just now we have defined it as 10 a2h2. 10 a2h2. Let me remove it, it is not required now. Okay, so let us continue. So what can we do? We can cancel 10 a2h2 plus 10 a2h2 and minus 10 a2h2. So we will have 5 h2 square. So now we have to, using that epsilon delta definition, we have to prove that yes, this is a required total derivative. So for that we have to take one epsilon. So let epsilon greater than 0 be given. So for this epsilon, we supposed to find delta, which will satisfy the definition. So let us take delta. We choose or we select delta is equal to. See, but right now we don't know the required value of delta. I will keep it blank. We will go further. After solving few steps, we will realize what should be our delta, and after that we will take. So let us go further. So consider, I am going to consider norm h less than delta. Simply we have to prove that definition is satisfied. So implies mod f of a plus h minus f of a minus t of h whole divided by norm h. We have to find its value, so I am going to continue. So this is equal to, see, numerator already we have calculated this value. Its value is here. I have written mod 5 h2 square divided by norm h. H means h1 comma h2. See, for numerator, mod is not required since you know that 5 is constant and square of any number cannot be negative. So there is no need of mod 5 h2 square. If we are talking about denominator, you know how to find the value of norm. You know the definition of norm, which is square root of h1 square plus h2 square. See, I am going to add non-negative number. That means I am going to add one square in numerator. Then we will have less than or equal to 5 h1 square plus 5 h2 square divided by root h1 square plus h2 square. See, I am adding 5 h1 square, so it cannot be negative. Either it will be positive or 0. So that's why we will have here this term is greater than or equal to the previous term. So from numerator we can take 5 common. So therefore we will have 5 h1 square plus h2 square divided by root h1 square plus h2 square. So you can easily see the difference between numerator and denominator. See, at numerator and denominator we have a same term, just difference of power, difference of indices there. Getting? So square root will get cancelled and we will have, this is 5 root h1 square plus h2 square. So this is equal to 5. So you know that root h1 square plus h2 square, this is the definition of norm. So this is norm h1 comma h2, which is equal to 5 norm h. Getting 5 norm h. But we have already mentioned somewhere that is norm h is less than delta. So let us use it here. So this is less than 5 delta. Actually what we want at the end, we want less than epsilon. So our choice of delta should be epsilon by 5. So we can easily cancel 5 and we will have epsilon. So this is equal to 5 epsilon by 5. 5 will get cancelled and epsilon. See, we did all these things and finally we proved that that right hand side, mod of right hand side is less than epsilon. That means definition is satisfied there. That means our choice of linear transformation is correct, and that is a required that total derivative of a given function. You can make a screenshot of it. After that we will write the next sentences. So therefore finally we proved that if norm h is less than delta, mod of f of a plus h minus f of a minus t of h divided by norm h is less than epsilon. That means definition is satisfied here. So the same thing we can write in terms of limit. So that is limit h tends to 0 mod f of a plus h minus f of a minus t of h divided by norm h is equal to 0. So therefore we can declare. So therefore f is differentiable at a is equal to a1 comma a2 belongs to R2 and its total derivative is t of h, which is equal to, actually we is supposed to write in this way, total derivative is dfa of h. We supposed to write in this way. So this is a standard symbol, which is nothing but our linear transformation t of h, which is equal to, I will write t of h1 comma h2. I think it was 10 a2 h2, right? See, yes. Then what can we write? Here a belongs to R2 is any arbitrary point. This is true, right now? So that point was arbitrary. There are no any fixed values. So therefore that point is arbitrary. That means function is differentiable at each point of R2. So therefore f is differentiable at each a belongs to R2. That means function is differentiable everywhere. So that's why we can declare it is a differentiable scalar field. So therefore f is differentiable scalar field. Okay, so in this way we have completed this problem. You can make a screenshot of it. After that we will stop. Thank you. Bye bye.